Today I'm going to teach you how to make custom wire wall art. We'll be using different gauges of wire to create framed art and also free-form wire art that hangs directly on your wall. So for my basic tools, I have chain nose pliers, and these are the Xuron brand tweezer nose pliers. They have finer ends. I have these stainless steel round nose pliers, and they also have very fine ends. These are larger round pliers, and my flush cutters, also by Xuron. I use this ring display cone a lot to make spirals. If you need larger round forms, I have my little pill bottles. I call this my little babushka doll with all my little sizes of circles. And for other round forms, I like to use highlighters, Crayola markers, and Sharpies. For the wires, my preferred brand is Artistic Wire by Beadalon. I use gauges between 26 gauge and 12 gauge. The thing to remember is the larger the number, the smaller the wire. So the 26 gauge is the smallest wire I use. It's good for wrapping and also weaving. I like to use the 28 gauge for wire crochet. It's fine, like almost like thread. 22 gauge is also good for wrapping, and 24 gauge as well. This is the gold color tarnish resistant copper, and this is the tarnish resistant brass. 20 gauge is my most popular size that I use for earrings and also rings. 18 gauge is a little thicker that I often use for larger pendants or ring bands. This is chunky 12 gauge wire. This one is aluminum. I use this for a lot of like other funky designs and sun catchers. This is a plastic coated 12 gauge wire from Michaels. I use that a lot for sun catchers as well. And this is the thickest wire I have. This is actually 3mm aluminum wire. This is great for armatures and also larger wall art. So I'm going to start with one of these Reba frames, 5x7 from IKEA. They have many different sizes. Just lift these up to remove the back. Just remove that one, remove the paper. We'll just trace this onto a thicker paper. I'm just using 140-pound watercolor paper. And then with scissors or an X-Acto knife, I'm going to cut this out. You want to make sure your design is going to fit inside the mat. This is one I've done for many of my YouTube tutorials, and people can size them how they like. To create your own, put the mat on the paper and just very lightly trace the area without damaging the mat. This is how big your template is going to be. I drew it out in pencil first. Freeform, the idea is to do one piece of wire. So do it as stylized as you like. If it's too curved, you can make it more straight down. So now we're going to get some 12 gauge black wire, and instead of cutting it off the roll, often I'll use it right on the roll, and I'm just going to bring it around here, curve it out. And I don't want to use my tools so much because it will scratch the wires. So we're just going to bring this one around. This wire is very soft. This is wire from Michaels. So we're just going to bring this one around. You can lift it off the template a bit as you go. Pull the wire out as you need it. So just bring it on here. Bring it across. And then when you want to bend it, you can just take it and even bend it with your fingernail. If you do want to use your pliers, just go very gently. Curve that one around here. Place it on here. And then bring this one down. You don't want it curved. Just bring it straight down. And then where you want the bottom of your cup, just give it a bend. Curve out the bottom a bit, just for a little bit of perspective. And then here, we're going to bend it up. Straighten that out. Put it back on here to have an idea where you want the top of the handle. Bring it around here, and you can just clip it there. So we're going to take this and clip it. So here we have the coffee cup. We're going to attach it onto the card, and you want to position it how you like. Here you could put a few little dabs of crazy glue or hot glue or even two-sided tape Otherwise, you can make little wire U's and stick them right into the paper. This is thick wire, so it should hold in place. We're going to take the mat and put it face down. We'll take the coffee cup and place it right where you want it to be placed. Center it in there. Take your plain paper, put it on top, being careful that it doesn't move around. And then we're going to take the backing and put it in place. From here, we're going to push these ends down. Flip it over, and you'll see because the wire's thick, it's getting pressed against the backing, and it's going to hold in place. So for the cat, I'm going to use 18 gauge wire. It's thinner than the 12 gauge wire, and we're just going to trace the shape. We want to leave a little bit of an end. We're going to stick through the paper. We're going to bring this one around and just trace the shapes again. Bring that out and up. And up. And then if you want to make a sharper bend, lift it off the paper, take your flat pliers and give it a bend. So bring that down and then curve that around to here. You can start it with your nail if you want. And then we're just going to hold it with the flat pliers and give it a good push. I always hold with the pliers and push with my thumb to make a nice sharp bend. Bring it back on the template. You can curve that out a bit. It always looks nicer when it's more curvy. And then here we can just hold that and bend it down and curve it around. This you can curve by hand. Otherwise, you can use a pill bottle just to make it a more even curve. I'm gonna bring this one around here. And then I have a special way of making spirals. I actually get this plastic ring cone. You could use the end of a funnel. You could even just use a marker, and we wind it around a few times. Depends on how big you want the spiral. And then I just push these ones down and it makes a cool spiral. So this one I could bring in a little bit more. And then we are actually going to make an end to poke through the paper to hold it in place, because with the thinner wire it could slip around. So we're going to hold this and just give it a good push to the back. And that one you can cut at about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. Same here. We're just going to decide where this is going to connect, and then we can take this and bend it. So that's ready to add to our paper. But take this one, take the mat to make sure it's going to be centered. This is going to be flipped over, but we have to place it down like this and center it how you want it to be. And here you could just do a little dot where we want to poke the holes. So I just get a straight pin or a safety pin and poke a hole and poke a hole. And then we have to flip the paper and stick these ends through the hole. So we're going to stick the wires through the holes, one there and one there. And then we're going to flip it, bend that down. And then you might need to adjust it a little bit again. I'll put the mat right side down, take the kitty, put it right side down, double check to make sure it's all right, put the back on, and push the little metal pieces back down. And there you have your super cute little kitty in the frame. So for this one, I actually typed out the word hello on Canva. I set this up on an 8.5 by 11 inch page. You could also do it on a Word doc. This font is called Playlist. And again, if you're not sure of the size of your wire, just use it straight off the roll. This is the 12 gauge wire again. You can even start at the end if it's easier. So I'm just going to take this, I'll leave a little extra, and we're going to bring it around And we're just going to do this by hand. So we're going to bring this around. This wire is very soft. Bring this one around here and up here. And this one you can just bring straight down. You could pinch that in a bit with the pliers. And then we'll just continue to follow the script. So bring it up, curve it out, and bring it around. Pull it out as you need the wire. Pull out more, just straighten it out as you go. Bring it around. Just keep going around and around. So we're going to bring this one around. This one curves around and then it just jogs down a bit. Bring this one up and then down. And this one can go up more at a sharp bend. Pull more wire out. Push it in a little more. And bring this one up. Straighten it out with your thumb. If it's easier, just lift it off the paper. And then bring this one around. Hold that. Bring it right around. And you can bring it out this way. From there, you can remove the paper. Clip this where you want. Same on this side. You can clip it where you want. And from here, you can adjust it as you need. If you need to straighten out areas, open it and push it again. And this will be the paper that it's going to go on. I like how the letters are at different levels. From there, we'll get the frame, get the glass, make sure there's no little bits on it. Get the word, flip it over, and center it on the frame. Take your background paper and just place it on top. Take the backing and just place it on there. Push these ones around. Really depends on what kind of frame you have. This is a cheap frame from the dollar store. And because the wire is thick, this is going to hold in place. And there's your super fun framed art with the word hello. I'm going to show you how to use Canva to create your template for your word. You just go to canva.com and you can open a free account. Then we're going to create a design. They have all kinds of different standard formats if you want to do Instagram posts or stories or YouTube banners. But I'm just going to press custom size and I want the dimensions in inches. So I'll change it from pixels to inches. And then the width is going to be, I want it landscape, like horizontal. So the width of a regular size paper is 11 inches and the height is 8.5 inches. So then we're going to create that design and there you have the right size for a printable piece of paper. And then I'll just go to text and just, you can add the heading and then we're going to write the word breathe. I can do it with an uppercase B or the lowercase. The lowercase is nice. And then I want to change the font. So this is the font size and the font style. So we're just going to click over here. And I like this playlist script. It works really well. So we're going to change it to the playlist script. And if you don't know your size, you can just take the corner and expand it to the size you need. So I want to make this one quite big. So I'll just go the full length. And you can also size it to 8.5 by 14 if you have that paper, or you could bring it to Staples or a printer to print it larger if you want. We're going to save it. So we're going to go over here and push share. And I want to download it. So we're going to push download. and I'll save it as a PDF. So we're going to go here, and you could do PDF print for a better quality, but PDF standard is totally fine. So now we're going to download it. So what I usually do when it downloads over there, I just pull this over and I just drag it over to my desktop, and then I'm going to open it up, and I will file and print it out, and I'm going to print it out in black and white. So there we go. So now I'm going to use the thicker 3mm wire. This one's a little bit trickier to work with, but the good thing is you can make a larger piece that can go on the wall without a frame. So I printed out the template, and again I'm going to follow it. It might end up being a little bit larger because this wire is quite thick. So we're just going to go in and trace the shape. So just around here, and you'll see it's quite a bit thicker. So we're going to bring that one around and bring this one. I do my lettering a little bit different than how this is done, but it'll just give you like the little sort of starting point. So we're going to bring the B around and then bring this one around here. And then for this, I'm going to bend it kind of down on itself and over, and then bend this one kind of to the back. And really don't worry if it's very like free form. So that's going to be the R, and bring this one up. And then for the E, we have to bend it out a little bit, pull some more wire, and then bring this one around. So I'm going to just bring it around here. You'll see it's a little bit of a more of a battle with this wire, but it makes a nice chunky design. So we're going to bring this up. Now this A, I do my A's a little bit different. So I'm actually going to bring this one down and then just start forming this circle. So we're going to bring this one around and then form this to the back for the A, and then bring this one straight up. And then what I do for the A is I straighten this a bit more. I'm going to bring this to the front. And like I said, I'll link up all the playlist of tutorials on my YouTube channel for the letters. We're going to bring this one up for the T, and then bring this one to the back. And pinch it as much as you can. You can get your tools if you want it a little more precise. So if you want to use your tools, just hold the flat pliers here, bend that here, and you can even take this to bend it to the front. So I'm going to bring that one across here. And then here, I don't want to scratch it too much, so I'm going to just bring it by hand to the back. And then here, you won't see it because it's on the side. We're going to bring it down. Here, pull out a little more wire here. So now we've got the T, and if you want to like do this sort of more in keeping with this, you could bring this one down a little bit more, so they're a little bit more. I should have done the same thing, maybe exaggerated it there, but you can like kind of adjust them how you like, because I like the way they're on different like kind of levels. So then we're going to bring this one around. The H has a big long line to it, so I'm going to straighten that out a little bit here, bring that one around. And then here, we're going to bend that one straight up. Pull out some more wire. Bring that one straight up here. And then push it down on itself. Bring this one around for the H. And then bring this one up. Pull a little bit more out. Bring this one in. And that one out for the E like we did previously, and around here, and then straight up. And then we just have to clip the end, so I'm going to remove that. Just decide how you want to end it off. I'm going to just curve that one a little bit more and just end it where you want. You can end it like around there. And then this one too, if you have to trim it, you can always trim a little bit there. And then we can just kind of straighten it out a little bit. And when you hang it on the wall, you can just put a tiny little nail there and there. So thanks so much for watching the videos, and happy wiring.